Hey everyone, it's Renee from the Fractional Referral Network. Today I've got sales detective, fractional VP of Sales, Alison White in the house. Alison is, she's been a fabulous member of the Fractional Referral Network and a great supporter. And so I'm very thrilled to put her in the spotlight today. Welcome aboard, Alison.
Thank you, Renee. I'm really happy to be here.
Alison, I'd love it if you tell us in more detail who you are and what kind of work you do as a fractional.
So I'm a fractional sales leader, and I basically step into small to medium-sized manufacturers, and I help them with strengthening their strategies, coaching their sales teams, creating systems that drive sustainable growth, basically. I have been called a sales detective because I like to roll up my sleeves and dive into what's holding back any type of growth, and that's what I do.
Fabulous. And tell me, what made you decide to pursue fractional employment or fractional work instead of traditional employment?
Well, I think, after decades in the manufacturing world and working for corporations, I had a milestone birthday, and I decided that I wanted to design the next chapter of my life on my own terms. And going fractional gave me the flexibility to really choose the projects that I wanted to be involved in, and helps me stay challenged. And most importantly, it helps me support other leaders who need who need help to grow their business, whether they're scaling or whatever. But I love it because it allows me to kind of come on board with a company 1 to 2 days a week for as long as I'm needed, and to set up a company up for success.
Excellent. And what do you like the most about working this way?
Well, first of all, when I decided to do this, I knew that I didn't want to work full time anymore. So that's a really big bonus for me because it's easier to manage my time.
Yeah.
The flexibility is a gift. It really is. But obviously, the real joy for me comes from choosing who I get to help and who I get to work with. Companies that truly value growth and collaboration. Those are the kinds of organizations that I love to work with. So it's incredibly rewarding to work with a company and see them gain momentum and confidence from my experience.
Yeah. Have you got a little success story you can share? It's a little plug for Alice.
Uh,
Little
well,
freebie insert off the top of your head. I know that's a blind one.
yeah, well, I'm working with an organization right now. It's very small, and when I went into to the organization, everybody was kind of, we don't need you here. We don't want you here. People get very cautious about somebody from the outside coming in. So really, I just, wanted to um, find somebody within the organization that could be kind of a champion, and that's what I did. I found someone within the organization that really wants to see this company grow and wants to help with changing the way they do things. So I have championed that person to help me with everybody else, because when everybody else sees the success or this person getting involved, then they likely will get involved as well, and they'll be a little warmer to the idea of having somebody in from the outside. So I would say that's a recent success that I've had.
Excellent, excellent. And I wrote a book many years ago on employee engagement. I used to be very passionate about leadership development, and that is actually a strategy for engagement, is to focus on not the people who don't give a shit, but the top your top I think it was 17% or whatever, that top group of employees, your raving fans, and let them influence the middle and get rid of the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
Cut them loose.
yeah.
What's one challenge you're working through right now, Alison?
Um, you know, I have a challenge. But it's a common challenge amongst I think probably not specific to manufacturers, but a challenge that is very common, I think, with manufacturing companies, is the CEO or the founder who micromanages the entire business. And I think that, when people say, well, we've always done it this way,
Mhm.
that's that's a challenge for me to kind of overcome. Companies that constantly are putting out fires and wondering why their salespeople leave. It's That's a big challenge. They tend to take longer to adapt to new processes and new ideas, and that's a big challenge, and it's one that I'm facing.
Do you find that those companies tend to blame external forces for the turnover problems and so on?
Um, in
Like,
a
it's
way,
millennials. It's the it's never them. It's
no,
always
it's never them. It's never them. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. How do
I
you
think,
have that conversation if you figure that out? Because it's awkward.
well, I try to, kind of warm up to the CEO in terms of, I'm not trying to take control away from you. I'm trying to give it back to you in a smarter way so that you can still have control, but you don't have to be in the weeds of the business every single day. So
Yes.
I try to kind of, work with CEOs in that way. It's kind of a reminder for me too that I'm not just coaching a sales team. I'm actually coaching the leadership team, or
Yes.
the CEO and the founder, and helping them build trust, if you will, to kind of go in the right direction.
Yes, because when you leave, you don't want it all to fall apart again, right?
No, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone just starting out as a fractional? You've been doing this now for how long, Allison? About a year or so?
Almost 2 years,
Okay.
almost 2 years. But I would say that the first year that I decided to do this, I really spent most of my time networking.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest piece of advice I would have is for people that are starting on this journey to network as much as possible, because when you start to network, you start to get referred, and people will come to you for support as much as you're giving them support. The fractional world is really about helping each other, and join a community like the Fractional Referral Network. Renee, you have provided a space for fractionals to come together, learn from each other. I mean, we're all, when you work on your own,
Yeah.
you don't have the company behind you anymore, so I can't walk down the hall and talk to IT because I have a problem with my computer.
Yeah.
I can't walk upstairs to the finance department to get help with an invoice, or all those little things. So when you're part of a community, you have resources, because fractionals are not just about sales. There's fractional IT, there's fractional finance people. And so all those people, it's a community. We help each other. And
Yes.
so that's my biggest piece of advice is get into a group like the Fractional Referral Network, and network like crazy.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people will often, they'll join something, but they don't participate. And
Right.
they don't know why they're not getting referrals. But like you only get referrals from people who know, like, and trust you. And
That's right.
if you haven't built
Yeah.
that, you're not going to get it. I mean, I can connect people, but I don't know the quality of someone's work or the work ethic or the integrity of people. If I'm not, if I don't have a good vibe about somebody, I'm not going to throw my reputation on the line. So as a fractional, I'm not a fractional, but if I were in that space, if I were in your space, I surely wouldn't want to, you know, refer a COO or whatever, a fractional COO to my client if I didn't know anything about them.
That's right.
Just because they've got that title on their LinkedIn profile doesn't mean that they actually know what they, you know, or they're the right fit, or that they're a good person or whatever. You know, there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
stuff involved there.
Yeah,
And those
exactly.
same sales and those same principles in sales, like to become the trusted advisor. You go into a company as a fractional, you become a trusted advisor. You have to. It takes time to cultivate that relationship, and you wouldn't want to blow that because some jackass came in that you referred.
Exactly. Well, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting
Mhm.
to know people.
Yeah.
It's just like sales. You're
Yes.
building relationships with people that will partner with you, that will support you, and that's also the fractional world. When you get into a group of people that can help you and support you, you quickly learn about things. When I first started, somebody said to me, "You've got to, set aside time for coffee chats. Once a week, you got to have a coffee chat with somebody that can help you, or somebody that you can learn from." And I went, "What? Coffee chats?" So when I started doing that, when I started doing coffee chats, it was all about getting referred to people, maybe connecting people with people. That's what we do. And so all the little groups that I'm in, I've connected with so many different people, and all the referrals that I've received have been amazing from
There,
all those groups. Yeah.
there. So there you
And
go.
like you said, you have to participate. You have to give as much as you're getting.
Yeah, yeah. When the Fractional Referral Network was free, there were a lot of people that signed up and never came back, and
Right.
for no reason. They just signed up and they forgot. You know,
Well, I mean, there's so many great tools and resources. Just in your group alone, there's so many great tools. You
I'd
have
like
a
to
whole
think so.
classroom full of resources that I often go to, when I'm thinking about something or I'm struggling with something, and all the GPTs that you've built alone have been extremely helpful.
I'm glad to know that, Allison. Thank you. I like to think they're all really kick-ass, but until fractionals are really using them, and
Yeah, yeah, you have to use them. You have to engage and you have to use them. Yeah.
but the beauty of the fact, because I created them, I can also adjust them. So, if you're using it and it's not quite hitting the mark for you, you just have to say, and I'll go
Yeah.
back in behind the scenes and fix it instantly. So they can
Right.
always be more and better. As that's the nice thing when it's somebody else's product, I have no control over that. But because I created it
Right.
myself, and I know that they were created um, with the intention to be not your average kind of GPT, to be very, very,
Right.
very focused and very, I like to use the word
They're
kick.
very specific. Yes, they're very specific. I mean, you have a sales coach, GPT, that is excellent for anyone that is looking to, people that are not in sales,
Yeah.
fractionals that are not in sales, will get a lot out of that too. And
Yes.
even the workshop that you and I did for mastering the sales conversation,
Yeah.
people got a lot out of that, because if you're not in sales, if you're not used to going out and pitching clients and doing that kind of work, you need help. that
Yes.
so that GPT that you built for that purpose was excellent.
I'm glad to know that. Thank you, Allison. That's because that means a lot because you are a sales professional. So that you find that useful and that um, it's hitting the mark. That's good to know.
Yeah, yeah,
So tell me, I know that salespeople tend to be continuous learners because in sales there's a real focus on continuous professional development. what would be one book, podcast, or resource that you would recommend to members of the Fractional Referral Network or any fractional?
Any book by Mike Weinberg on sales. He speaks a lot about leading teams, like sales leadership. He also has a book on just sales, how to how to be a great salesperson. There's another book called The Rainmaker. I don't know, I can't remember the author, but that's a really good book about how to make things happen for yourself and for others. But definitely for sales, Mike Weinberg has some really great books and resources.
Yes, you can download the audios too, like the audio
That's
versions.
right.
Spotify,
Yeah.
if you're not inclined to sit and read, you can listen to them while you're driving in your car.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're very
exactly.
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much, Alison.
Thank you, Renee.
Where can people find you? Tell us.
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, and that's probably the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. There's a link to my website, my calendar, so you can find me in those places.
And of course, in the Fractional Referral Network.
And of course, the Fractional Referral Network.
All right. Thank you so much, Alison. Have a fabulous day.